Kevin, the next aspect of this is the SNAP benefits drying up for people that are going to have a hard time putting food on the table. You know, the description there was that Chuck Schumer is playing politics with people's lives here because he's afraid about his power center.
I'm not blaming either side because everybody's got enough blame on their hands regarding this. And Wednesday will be tied with the longest government shutdown. So next week is really a showdown in that sense. Here's what I don't like that's happening. You talked about SNAP. There's a separate bill to fund that by itself. And then other senators are proposing bills just to take care of the TSA and the FAA to solve for the transit airline issue. Very bad idea because you need to keep the pressure on all fronts to get the government back in the room, cutting a deal with each other, whatever it ends up being, clean bill or whatever. I don't think it's going to be possible to litigate the outcome of health care because there's not enough time. I mean, past November 15th, nobody gets a paycheck. You're talking the IRS, the Army, the SNAP stuff, all the controllers are going to say, okay, I give up, I'm not getting paid. It'll shut down the entire economy. And it doesn't matter which side you're on, everybody's going to be pissed at you. And so every constituency everywhere is going to say, okay, you bozos, get back to Washington. We elected you to do the people's business, and you're sitting on your you-know-whats doing nothing. And we're pissed. And I think that's what it's going to take. I think that happens on Wednesday next week.
The second is monetary liquidity sensitivity, global central banks easing. That's Bitcoin and Ethereum. And seasonally strong. I think they could make a monster move in the next 3 months. Like, huge.
What do you make of his characterization of what happened in China?
I think it's ignorant, and I think it's kind of sad he has no idea how ignorant he is, because I was in the room, and I can tell you I was there for the president's entire trip, and it was a tour de force. President went into Malaysia, signed trade deals, peace deals with Thailand and Cambodia, that everyone in the Asia region wants to be partners with the U.S. We moved on to Japan. The president and the new prime minister of Japan had great chemistry. And then we went into Korea, and the meeting with President Xi was one of great respect and many accomplishments.
Okay, the XRP community didn't get to say, God, if only the SEC was a little nicer to us over the last 5 years. They had to deal with it as an ecosystem, and they spent hundreds of millions of dollars, and they took the worst of all of it for all of us, with the possible exception of Binance and a few others. Holy moly. And now we're on the other side. And we're working hard. We survived. The industry survived. We're still in the game.
Solana Labs builds products. One of the products we recently shipped was an Android phone with kind of the slick integration for signing. The goal is to give users like an Apple Pay. Hell yeah, Seeker. Go to solanamobile.com and buy a Seeker. So I get to sell phones now. The goal is to build like an Apple Pay-like experience for signing crypto, because a lot of the complexity and understanding security and all of these things can be abstracted away in I think the most important device that has been built in the last 50 years, which is your smartphone.
So guys, I see that all over the world, right? I spend a lot of time in just about every country, on just about every continent. I've got projects, and I talk to people, and honestly, the race toward cryptocurrency is electric right now. I mean, it is absolutely electric. I don't care if you're talking to the top leaders of various countries, where they're sitting there saying, you know, in the winter, when it's not nearly as hot, I'm going to take all the energy supply from my major city, and I'm going to, dedicate it to Bitcoin mining. I really believe in that asset. Or, our country just bought, 200,000 Bitcoin, and we did so very quietly. We don't want anybody to know about it, but that's how much we believe in the asset.
Volatility was a gift to the faithful. It scares away the tourist. It scares away the lazy. It scares away the people that are already conventionally rich, that have all the money. If you're a 20-something or a 30-something and you're willing to do the work, if you're willing to spend 100 hours or 200 hours, if you have more time than money, then the volatility of Bitcoin is a gift to you. If you have more money than time, and you're arrogant and egotistical and you just pick the obvious, then if the volatility goes away, you buy Bitcoin. If people in the rest of the world knew what I know, and they understood and they agreed with me, Bitcoin would go to $10 million tomorrow. And if Bitcoin went to $10 million tomorrow, I want you to think about how you would feel and how your viewers would feel, because you would lose 20 years of stacking opportunity during which you get to buy at less than $10 million. So the difference between $10 million and 100,000, that's what you give up if the volatility goes away and people start to agree with you.